All right, this is People of the State of Michigan versus Douglas Jackson, docket number 19-266FH. And Mr. Jackson, you're here today because a bench warrant was issued. It was issued based on an allegation that on or about March 3rd of this year, which I believe is the day or the day after you were released from custody, you failed to contact the probation department within 24 hours of your release. Do you understand the allegation against you?
Yes, ma'am.
If it's proven true, it could subject you to a maximum penalty of up to 2.5 years in prison based on your original conviction. You have the right to be represented by an attorney, and we do have an attorney here for you, Mr. Austin, who's standing by. And you also have the right to a contested hearing. Hearing where you could appear by yourself or through your attorney. You could hear the evidence presented against you. You could cross-examine witnesses, and you could present your own evidence. And Mr. Austin, can you tell me how we're proceeding on this?
Yes, Your Honor. It's my understanding Mr. Jackson will be admitting to the violation.
Is that right, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson, you do have the right to a contested hearing. If you plead guilty, you won't have a contested hearing, and you'll give up the rights that go along with it. That includes the right to have the allegation proven, the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the hearing and to be able to cross-examine them, the right to have this court order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the hearing, and also the right to testify yourself at the hearing if you wanted to. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone made any promises to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Anyone used any threats or other kinds of pressure?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you believe you did violate probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when I sentenced you last time, you were in Jackson County Jail, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you contact your agent within 24 hours of your release?
No, because I didn't get out within 24 hours.
No, but after you got out, not after you saw, after you got out of Jackson County, did you contact your agent within 24 hours?
I tried to contact Mr. T. Sort on several occasions. My godfather tried to contact him. And, you know, with the courthouse being closed, I can't just walk in there, Your Honor. But yes, we did try.
Did you call him?
Yes, ma'am, that's what I mean. Yes, ma'am. But
within 24 hours?
But when I got back to Lansing, yes, ma'am. To my knowledge, yes, ma'am, I did. If it wasn't 24, it was thereabouts within that time.
So did you for sure contact him within 24 hours of your release from the jail?
Maybe not within 24, ma'am, Your Honor.
Okay. The court finds the plea is understandingly, voluntarily, and knowingly made. It is supported by the testimony. The plea of guilty is accepted. Mr. Jackson is found guilty of probation violation. And Mr. McQuillan, or Agent McQuillan, is there a recommendation?
Yes, there is, Judge. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. The reason I'm here today is on March 1st, Mr. Jackson was convicted of probation violation. He was sentenced to 120 days curfew tether. He was then assigned to Agent Allen, who prepared the bench warrant for failing to report. Mr. Allen has left employment with our office. So I was, at the end of last week, assigned the case. I've never met with Mr. Jackson before. But he said this is his, I believe, third probation violation. Mr. Teetsort has in his probation notes from the last violation that I believe his recommendation then was to revoke probation. Judge, you afforded Mr. Jackson an opportunity on curfew tether. I think based on the fact that I've never talked with Mr. Jackson to base any substantial recommendation I will use the court sentence from last time. I would recommend 120 days on curfew tether. I think would be a good structured
Yes.
probation violation sentence. I would maybe recommend that he be remanded to the Ingham County Jail until such times that a tether agent, because he will need to be reassigned to a tether agent, and they will have the opportunity to either meet with Mr. Jackson in person or by way of a Polycom meeting to set up his curfew tether. That would be my recommendation. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, I just need to know one thing for purposes of counting violations and whether they're minor or major in the future. I show that I issued this bench warrant on March 8th, and obviously today is June 1st. So has he been on absconder status that whole time, or has he been reporting?
He's been on absconder status.
I thought so. I just want to make sure. Thank you. Mr. Austin.
Judge, one thing, he's got 8 days credit as of this current violation as of today. Thank you, Judge.
Great, thank you. Mr. Austin.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I think Mr. Jackson could benefit from the structure that a tether would bring, and assurances that he's going to be in contact and keeping in compliance with his probation orders. And I know the court has afforded Mr. Jackson opportunities, and I know he's had some missteps along the ways, but he tells me that he does want to continue probation and that he will complete it. I know he has a job lined up for him here that he's looking forward to get back on track and add some stability to his life. I would ask the court to adopt the recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, and now your turn, Mr. Jackson. Is there anything you wanted to say?
Yes, ma'am. First and foremost, I want to say, I apologize, Your Honor, for, at this point, kind of being a problem child on probation, so to speak. I've been going through a lot. I've had a lot of losses. Well, no excuses, because there's no excuse. Either I'm going to do the right thing or I'm going to do the wrong thing. And I've set my mind to doing the right thing. I've got a job. Just prior to being arrested, I was given a job at Quickies Car Wash. They're willing to hold it for me. I didn't know I was going to court today. If I could get out of jail today, Your Honor, I'll be working tomorrow. And I give you an address where I will be at, a telephone number that you can contact me. If you can't contact me, it's a message phone with my godfather. I'll give you an address where I will be staying at. And as soon as the tether agent wants me to appear, I will appear. And I told you I was writing some stuff down, Your Honor. And it's not corny stuff, but it's stuff that I'm a person, I love quotes and stuff and different things, especially stuff that really applies to me. And the one thing that caught my eye, and it talks about, it says ability is what I personalized it. It says ability is what I'm capable of doing. Motivation determines what I'm going to do. My attitude determines how well I will do it. And I added to that, talk is cheap, but it can also be priceless. At this point, Your Honor, it's my attitude that's going to determine everything from this point on. Doing the right thing. And the sad thing about this situation, Your Honor, and I mean this from my heart, is that Mr. Hall, who was a friend of mine, is no longer here. He passed away, and without me being able to make good and make amends, he never held it against me. What I did, the wrong I did him, and that troubles me. But I still have an opportunity right now to do the right thing. And whether the money goes to him or wherever the restitution goes to, at least I will have done I would have done something good in regards to the bad that I've done. And the other thing that I wrote down, I just saw it and it caught my eye, and it's the definition of success. And that is, I've got to be able to see my goal. I have to understand the obstacles, and those obstacles for me are my past history, but not even so much my past history, my attitude has been an obstacle. And I can't let it be an obstacle anymore. I won't let it be an obstacle anymore. I've got grandkids. I got great grandkids. I've got a godfather out there who's elderly now, who has taken care of me for too long. And now I need to be out there to take care of him. Unlike I wasn't for my mom when she got sick and I was in prison and my mother passed away and I wasn't able to take care of her. I don't want that situation to happen with my godfather, because basically, I mean, I got family and stuff that care, but my godfather is the one that's always there for me, whose address I'm going to give you and telephone number who I'm going to give you. And he's going to make sure that I toe the straight and narrow from this point on, or I'm out of there. And if I'm out of there, then I'll be on another probation violation. Okay. But the other part is, yes, ma'am.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go on.
The other part of the success is create this, the C in success is create a positive mental picture. That's what I gotta do. I've got to stop seeing the glass half empty and start seeing it half full. And these may sound like cliches, Your Honor, but this is the stuff that I've got to start believing in, because I don't. I always I look for the negative. I always looking for the bottom to fall out, and I've got to start seeing the bottom being stable, and that is not going to fall out. Only way it's going to fall out is if I cause it to fall out, not because of just, that's the way things go, because it's not. Life isn't like that. Life is what I make it at this point. And the other C in success, clear my mind of self-doubt. This is another one. I have so much self-doubt, and I'm not going to go on and on and on, but I've had two judges in my family in the Lansing area. Judge John W. Davis, who was the chief judge of 54A District Court in Lansing at one point, and Judge Claude Thomas, both my first cousins. Your Honor, I was supposed to be the third judge to come out of my family, and I was supposed to be the one that sat on the Supreme Court. I know right from wrong. I come from a good family. I just have, I've allowed an addiction control too much of my life. And as I tell people, how can I let an inanimate object like cocaine or crack, which has no life except for the life that I give it, it doesn't come to life until I pick it up, put it in a pipe, or put it up my nose, or whatever the case may be. I'm done letting that control me, because it's time. Embrace the challenge instead of being afraid of, the outcome and being afraid of maybe failing, because, I guess failure is a part of life, but I've got to be able to embrace the challenge and be able to be up for the challenge and not just say, oh man, that's too big of a challenge. I can't do it. I can't have that attitude no more. I refuse to have that attitude again. Stay on track. The way I'm going to stay on track, Your Honor, is keep my circle really small, which consists of my godfather, my children, my grandchildren, and my family. All these other people who, as I sit in this jail day after day, maybe month after month, year after year in prison, who can't even sacrifice 45 cents to send me a postcard to say, hey, I was thinking about you. They are the ones that allow me to get off track. They're out of my circle. From this point on, Your Honor, I'm asking you to please let me go today. I want to go to work. I want to get back on track, and I can get back on track today. We can meet again in a week, and I'll show you positive results within a week. I promise you that. That's how focused and how serious I am about what I'm saying right now. Show the world I can do it. But basically, it's not even a matter, Your Honor, of showing the world I can do it. I need to show Douglas, that I can do it. Like my mother always had confidence that I could do it. It was just me. And just the one last thing I wanted to say is my record. I've been in prison You know, I've been to prison, and I had one of the parole agents at a parole interview tell me, he was like, you know, Mr. Jackson, he said, I came here with every intention on flopping you today. He said, but in sitting down talking with you today, he said, there's no way I can justify flopping you. He said, you are your worst enemy. He said, you're in, he said, you know something? He said, the only thing that separates you from sitting on this side of the table with me and doing what I'm doing and interviewing people is yourself. And he said, you can do what I'm doing far better than I can. He said, because you have an understanding that he said, a lot of people don't have. He said, you have insights that people don't, that he said, they're God's gift and you're wasting them. And Your Honor, like I said, I'm just tired. I want to do something. It's time for me to start giving back, man. Excuse me, not man. It's time for me to start giving back. You know, there's a lot of kids out there, troubled youth. I see them all the time on the east side of Lansing that need somebody that's positive. You know, somebody's trying to say, hey, man, I've been where you're headed, man. That's not what's up. You know, listen, you know, let me, can I get 10 minutes of your time to share, you know, a little bit of my past? But Your Honor, like I said, I've got a job opportunity, possibly two, with Red Lobster as a cook, you know, as a line cook as well. But I have the job at Quickies Car Wash. They're holding it for me, but they won't hold it, you know, you know, if I can get out, like I said, if I have to report once a week or whatever until I get on tether, I'll do that. I promise you. You will, when I come back in front of you, it'll be on a positive note. I'll put it like that. If you give me one more opportunity today, just one more, I promise you, the next time you see me, Your Honor, it will be on a positive note. And I need, you know, to know where the money's supposed to go to for the restitution of what I'm supposed to be paying, because Mr. Hall had no beneficiary. My godfather was his best friend, and he wasn't even the beneficiary. So I don't know where this money is going to go now. But I'm willing to pay for it because I owe.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jackson. You know, I like all your quotes. I agree with all your quotes. They're good thoughts. What a lot of what you've been talking about with those quotes and the things you've said about them is that you need to change how you think in order to change how you act. That should sound very familiar to you, because I bet you've had some of that. And if you were an MDOC, you probably had some of that, or on probation.
Thinking matters. Right? Thinking matters, thinking for change. Yep.
Yes.
And if you change the way you think, you can change the way you live.
I could testify to that, sir. That is a true statement.
Yes, ma'am.
And you get the concept, but you're still falling back on that thinking. Like, you know, you say glass half empty. Oh, I have a record. I've been to MDOC. You know what? I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that. And it's not your past that's preventing you from moving forward. It's your present. It's what you're doing right now. And talk is cheap, you know, and although I agree with all of those things that you said, and I think you get the concept about thinking matters, you know, now the next step is do it. Do it. Change the way you think. Understand that just because you have a thought in your head, self-doubt, for example, that doesn't mean that it's true. You know, if you feel less worthy or less capable, it doesn't mean that it's true. You're just thinking that, so you believe it's true because it's in your head. It's not necessarily true. Do a reality check. I do it all the time. I ask myself if I'm having a negative thought about myself. Now, is that really true? What evidence do I have to show that that's not true? And I make myself face the evidence to show it's not true. I know how to do it. You can do it too.
Yes, ma'am. I will.
You can do it too. So, you know, your sayings are good and you should continue saying them, but then you got to put it into action. Okay.
Your Honor, give me the opportunity today. I will put it into action. As I just said, you know, one of the things I usually do is, like, you know, if I get released or whatever, I'm calling somebody for a ride. I said, if I get released today, I'm walking and
Okay,
using
Mr.
that
Jackson.
time.
I'm going to put more faith and belief in you than you have put in yourself. Because you're really shortchanging yourself through all of this stuff that you've been doing.
Yes, ma'am.
You're shortchanging yourself. I believe in you more right now than you have shown you believe in yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
But, now you step up and don't just
Yes.
do the talk, walk the walk.
Yes, ma'am.